What can an expat actually claim against taxes? This coffee? Let's look at some of the most common expenses that people have, and let's use this very high-tech system to classify what is taxable and what is tax deductible. You will always need to live somewhere, and your accommodation costs when you're at home typically aren't deductible. When you're traveling, they might be, and that's why when you're working as a digital nomad, you've got to be able to differentiate between what's business travel and what's living at home. So housing, if you're smart, some of it might be deductible, but I would say most of it probably isn't. Do you need to travel for your job? Do you need to be there? Because if you do, then that plane fare, that train fare is a business expense. And then if you are just going somewhere because you feel like it, probably not. Car is a similar version to that. Business use, yes. Private use, no. Everyone's got a phone. Everyone needs to connect to the internet because you're watching Netflix or you're watching me on Instagram right here, right now. So the cost of doing that isn't often a tax deductible business expense in most countries unless you've got incremental extra costs like out of plan phone calls or additional download capacity, or if you're in a hotel when you're on a business trip and you've got to subscribe to that hotel internet for the extra day. So not always likely to be deductible, but you never know. For clothing, everybody needs to wear clothes. I would like to think so. So most places, it's unlikely that you get a deduction for anything other than specialist clothes. That might include workwear, stuff with a logo on it, stuff that has protective clothing capabilities, but just normal clothes because you need to look smart for your Instagram videos. Unfortunately, you can't deduct those. Entertainment is one of the most variable deductibles in most countries because there will be rules which change depending on whether it's staff entertainment, customer entertainment, employee entertainment or contractors, and whether it's food, whether there's alcohol involved, you never know. And so it's always important to know who you're entertaining, why you're entertaining, whether the cost is reasonable. And I do love it when tax advisors use the word reasonable because sadly their definition is slightly different to mine. And so that's another one of my very cautious ticks. Food generally doesn't get to be deductible or expensible unless you're maybe on a business trip and you're going to be out of pocket for these things. Again, be careful on that one, but it's unlikely in most cases that you get much in the way of a deduction for just plain food and drink.